fellow builders, welcome back to the shed bench. Bench is a bench, man. It's the next day, and actually the phaser rifle fared pretty well. Is there sanding in my future? Absolutely. Absolutely there is. But we're never going to get around that. But it's looking pretty good. And so mentally I can kind of move to the next step for like detailing, because I know these pieces that I'm going to have to glue on, I mean, there's no challenge there. But I'm thinking I'm going to have to go on ahead and on the tip here where these vents are, I'm probably just going to go ahead and cut those out and remodel it in Fusion 360. And then there's a piece that goes here that it fits there, but it's a little bit short, so I'm going to have to add a spacer in for that. But the other thing that occurred to me is I need to be able to work on it on the bench, which means I need some kind of quick and dirty stand that I can put on so I can set it down and do measurements or whatever and not be fumbling with it. So we're going to build one real quick. We've got plenty of scrap wood. You know the rule, use what you got. And I've just found some pieces. This is a perfect base. I can't even remember what I think there are bits of resin, so I think I had this set up to hold my helmets while I was putting resin on them or whatever. But it looks like it's going to be a perfect base for holding the phaser rifle on the bench. So we just got to figure out, you know, the height or whatever. And all I'm thinking is something along that line. Something to hold it right about there. I don't want any of it to be really, so what do we want? Maybe right there and right there and right there. And I don't have a tape measure out here. And we're going to fix that. But what do we have? Well, let's do this. Because use what you got. There. So, yeah. So it needs to come up to at least that high. Got another piece of 2x4. Can put that there. That'll work that. It's already got holes in it. Sweet. And I was thinking of. Okay, so where we are. You know, I almost even want to leave it there to paint it. Hanging was good. We shall see. We shall see. So, what I was talking about is this piece here. The piece that goes there is just a series of like donuts or whatever, and it's got a little bit of wiggle room, which we don't want. So I'm going to have to fill in that space there. We've got controls right here. There's like supposed to be like a bar control. Look at that, it goes. Okay. So here there's these two switches. This is black. You've got these two squares here and you've got this rectangle here. I want to be able to go in, maybe hog this out a little bit and then put a piece of plexiglass in there or something. And here you can see clearly these two holes or whatever. This is where that top piece is going to mount. And yeah, look at that. That's almost perfect for that. So I could just cut a chunk of that off, set it down in there, in those two spots, make sure I have the corresponding spots on the site, and we're good to go. Okay. But while it's sitting up here, I need to go in the house and grab some sandpaper. I want to do a little bit of light sanding, and then we're going to do another primer coat. It's been a couple of days and the weather has turned and it's much colder out there, so we're moving inside to do what we can in here. First thing I want to work on is this here. This is the piece that goes on there, and it's, oh my goodness. Okay, the problem I have is there's a gap right up front, and I want to fill it somehow. So my options are, and this piece, it's a little bit wide at the top. So this, okay, well, yeah, I guess it seems like it should narrow as it goes forward, and it kind of does. It's I'm probably overthinking it, but I don't want to split the difference and there be a gap at either end. I want it to be flush at the front and there be something that I want the back to be flush. So, oh my goodness. Let's see here, what do we got? So we got 73.79 Sharpie. 73.79. All right. And the gap is 77.38. 3.59. So my thought is, do I want to match this shape with just like maybe a shorter piece just to glue on there and then fill in the gap? What I need to do is mark it. Yeah, see, it's not exactly straight, but that's, you know what, let's do this. With an F for front, so we know which end we want up there. We want that up there like that, which gives us a little bit of a gap back here. So we need to figure out what to do with that. We need to hog that out, and then we need to transfer that location. We need to onto here once we decide where exactly we want it. And basically that's all I'm going to do, is I'm just going to match it up Make myself a line just like there and there. Center it. Drill a hole there. And fit it on. So we're going to tackle that. That's what we're going to do. I decided to make things easy for myself by putting a piece of tape down on where the scope was going to mount, trimming out the shape of it, and then placing it on the bottom of the scope where it needs to go. Now all I need to do is just hog out the holes. One of the things you saw me doing in that final segment was cutting this piece out that was on the end of that scope. And the reason I did it was I want to put some kind of picture or sight on there, and I needed a rough idea of the size because I did find a picture on the internet that showed what that's supposed to look like. And it's like the circle sight and it's got numbers down the side. I don't think I can accurately do that. I'd have to find some small decals to do part of it. But again, I'm also thinking about modeling it in Fusion 360 and so I can glue it in there. So that's that. I'm still on the fence because I'm just unclear as to how detailed I want to go with this. But then we're going to move on to me putting in that front piece, sizing that front piece. I thought about a couple of different things, using foam to tighten it up, and that wasn't quite the right answer. And I thought about, again, modeling something, or I thought about remodeling the whole thing. Just going in and give it a little bit more of a conical shape, so because it goes like out and it comes in a little bit, I wanted it to be a little bit better than what it was. And then I'm like, okay, let's just get it in there because it's going to be an afterthought. You're not really gonna think about it once it's in there. So it took a little bit of doing, but I just used regular sheet styrene and sized it in there to where it was going to be snug, and then just took the Dremel and just shaped it with the Dremel. Plastic was flying everywhere, but we got the job done. There are several milestones that you really look forward to when you're building a model. Getting your first primer coat on there. That's just, it really kind of brings all the assembly together so you can kind of visualize it as one. The other one is getting that first coat of paint on there, trying to figure out if the shade is right or whatever. And that's where I ran into a little bit of trouble, because if you look at the picture, the phase rifle is all silver, right? But when I was going onto the internet, I couldn't find a phaser that matched this model style being all silver with a couple of pieces being black. And that's when I noticed that the phaser that he's holding in this picture isn't the same phaser that is in the box. So, you get the hint that it is silver all the way down with accents of black. Whereas the way this picture is shot, in the lighting that it's shot in, it could be a gloss black. Just the lighting makes it look silver. So I thought I was going crazy. But I've decided to go on ahead and follow what the movie prop is look like. So that whole front barrel part's going to be painted black. So the other part of this was trying to figure out, well, is it silver? Is it aluminum? Is it light gunmetal or whatever? I'm going with silver leaf. So this is silver leaf and a metallic gray, because this part of the phaser rifle on both sides is gray. And I like it. That looks good. This gives me like, okay, all right, we're honing in on what we need to get to. The finish line is close at hand. I did get a little bit off on my taping, so when I paint the other side, this is the door for where the electronics could be, but we're not going to do electronics. I thought about doing maybe some kind of emergency kit inside, but it's not like I'm going to be putting it on and taking it off. But it's a thought for the future. But yeah, we're going to go with Tamiya Silverleaf and what is this? And then the blacks. Even your blacks are not just black, because there was a metallic black, there's a gloss black, there's NATO black, and then there's also the Plastidip, the black Plastidip, which gives it a different feel and a little bit of different, coloring too. So I guess what we need to do is get this first coat. Let's get the first coat of silver on. Silver or black? Silver or black? Not sure. Let's go with, well, and even no matter what color I choose, we're going to end up back out in the shed because it's still too big to paint in the paint booth. So we need the space. So let's get out to the shed and then we'll decide which one we're going to do. Well, for whatever reason, I feel like starting with the black would be the best answer. So that's what we're going to do. I've got the bottom grip piece also that I'm going to get painted. I've tape maxed off everything, parts that either need to be painted black, and we're just going to hit those, and pieces that I don't want painted. So this is the surface where the scope is going to mount and the peg, so those are taped off. The front end is, we're good to go. And just the back end of the rifle butt is going to be painted black. So we're just going to get that going, and then we'll move on from there. That's all we can do for now. I'm just gonna let that dry. Maybe come out, we can check it in a little bit, see if we need to put a second coat on there, and you know what? Both angles. And again, the ability to be able to move it around like this, I just can't get that in the paint booth. Nothing this big, so thank goodness for the shed. So gonna wait, let it dry, see what we get in about 20-30 minutes. Looks good, looks really good. Looks so good, I'm gonna go on ahead and put a coat of clear on there and lock that in. I'm just thinking. I'm just like, we're getting kind of long in the tooth on this video. But if we get the silver on there and get it to the point where we can let it dry, then maybe the next video we can work on doing the accent pieces. 20 more minutes. Since I have to unmask it and remask it, I'm just gonna take it in the house with me, which will help it dry faster anyway. Okay, we're on the last little bit here to get us all filled in. The upside to this is since the barrel is all painted, I have a place to grab it. can. We're going to be done here for the night. At least I think now. Not much else we can do, so we're kind of back where we were at the beginning of the video, waiting for paint to dry. Alright. There are upsides and downsides to having the shed. The upside is the space, being able to move stuff around. You can do, you know, if it's stinky or dirty, you can do that out there without having to stink up and make everyone else in the house mad because they can smell your paint or your solvents or whatever. The downside of the shit is you're subject to whatever the weather is out there. So in the summer it's really hot, in the winter it's really cold. Since it was supposed to get down into the teens, let the paint cure, shut the heater off, let the paint cure to the touch, then brought it inside for the night. But I also thought it would be kind of rude to not show you the whole thing painted in. If it was me sitting there watching me, and I didn't get to see at least that before the video ended, I'd have been a little bit upset. I'm like, well, that's just rude. So I got a little bit of B-roll for you just to see where we are with it. You can see where the switches go. There's some work that needs to be done there. Also, we're back on the side door. There are screw holes, and I need to go to the hardware store and find the appropriate size and length of screws because we still need to line this up. And the upside is the resin, I can tap the hole inside the resin and the screw will hold in there. That's the beautiful thing about resin. We also still need to deal with the site. In the process of doing more research, found a different screen that was supposed to be the site. I've thought about doing more detailing because the front end of the site is actually a flashlight, and you can see inside there, it's just flat, but there was a round flashlight in there. So I was wanting to go possibly into Fusion 360 and model a round flashlight light to glue inside there, which means I need to measure, grab the old calipers out. And if I'm going to do that, I always try to put a little bit of my own personal flair on any model that I build, despite whether it's screen accurate or not. And that may be what happens with the site. I might just go in there and design my own site, or maybe find a little picture of like a Borg or something. But I don't know. These little details are things that need to be kind of sussed out. Also, there's no trigger inside the in the model in the molding of the model, so I'm gonna have to figure that out too. It won't be able to depress, but I still want it to be there. You know, our plate is still full. We've got a lot to keep us going to bring this phaser rifle across the line. And it's kind of also reawakened my joy of Star Trek, because then as I was going through some stuff, and I know there's a couple of models that I've got some 1000 scale, like the Reliant and there was the Enterprise, the NX-01. There was a mod for that they had added different pieces to it that I never built. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And then I also have the Scorpion model that I've got for a song. It's got Data and Picard painted already. All I have to do is assemble that model. So the Trek juices are flowing right now. I even had this idea where I've got the DS9. I had a DS9 model, and it's kind of big. It's kind of big to display. But I had a second one that a buddy had given me, one that he didn't want, and I had mine, and it's disassembled. And then I have the saucer section, the top saucer section for the Battlestar Galactica base star. Well, they're all round, you know. I'm like, ooh, that could make some kind of a cool, funky space base if I could, you know, figure out how to stack them. You know, kind of a spin-off of the Federation base. And I've got the space. I could put it in the corner, or just hang it from the wall. So many ideas, so little time. But in the interim, we got to focus. We got to get back on this. So while I'm focusing on this, you can go build something, and you can go focus and get something done. Yeah. So until next time, we're going to keep focus. We're going to get this one across the line, and we're going to have fun. We're going to be safe, and we're going to go build something. Okay? All right. See you next time. Pew 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 pew.